I'm Ansley Mathis.
I'm Sarah Fortuno.
I'm Renee Al-Nubani. We are doing our project on 10th Street Northwest from Hempville Avenue all the way to Fowler Street.
This is one of the busiest streets bordering campus, and it has a lot of multimodal significance.
This street is full of various forms of transportation. There are 6 MARTA stops along the corridor. The Georgia Tech Green Bus stops along this street, as well as the grocery bus. This street is located right off of the highway and has pedestrian generators on both sides of 10th Street. It connects to Georgia Tech's campus, residential areas, and restaurants and shops. This street is connected to so many crucial areas around campus, and therefore it is dense, and hundreds of pedestrians, bikers, and scooter riders use it every single day. However, there are no bike facilities along 10th Street. That leaves bikers and scooter riders often seen riding on the sidewalks and crossing over 10th Street, which makes people feel unsafe and fosters a lack of connectivity with the Georgia Tech bike facilities. For pedestrians, the sidewalk quality and zones vary greatly along the street, with some areas providing a buffer zone for plants and trees and other areas lacking buffers. The pedestrian through zone varies from 5 to 7 feet, and there is always a frontage zone of at least 5 feet. Towards the east, the use of trees and plants in the landscape buffer and frontage zones provide extensive shading and visual interest for pedestrians, improving their quality of walking. This can be improved in the western side of the street, which has minimal shading and less buffer zones. The pavement is high quality with little to no cracking in most areas, although there is significant damage on the northwest section of the sidewalk adjacent to Home Park housing, and there are multiple places where construction is taking place. The street segment is well connected to transit services, having 6 MARTA stops for Bus 12 and 4 Stinger bus stops, 3 on the green route and 1 on the grocery route. However, only 3 out of the 6 MARTA stops have seating or shelter, and only 1 out of the 3 Stinger stops has a shelter. All MARTA and Stinger bus stops are in the same lane as traffic, thereby reducing delay time by eliminating entry and re-entry.
We conducted a small survey of 22 people, many of whom are students and residents that live right across the street.
After conducting our survey with 22 respondents, this is what we found. 100% of people reported walking along this corridor, 14 reported utilizing the Georgia Tech Stinger system, 10 reported driving on the street, and 5 reported using a bike or scooter along this segment. When asked what the user's preferred mode of travel was on 10th Street, 72.7% reported walking, 18.2% said using a car, and 9.1% said biking or riding a scooter. Overall, users didn't have a high safety rating of the area, with an average rating of 5.7 out of 10 for walking safety and an average of 4.8 out of 10 for biking safety. 90% of users have jaywalked at some point instead of waiting for the crossing signal, and multiple survey responses noted the desire for improved waiting times at intersections.
To assess the multimodal performance of 10th Street, we analyzed the pedestrian and bicycle level of traffic stress, also known as LTS, and level of service, also known as LOS, and the overall vehicle safety. A pedestrian LTS of 2 was determined by analyzing the sidewalk facilities. The 2 lanes per direction and lack of speed controls raised stress levels for pedestrians, but the clear visibility and large sidewalks with an average quality rating of 3 increased the sense of security. This analysis is also supported by the feedback from the survey. The average rating for how safe an individual felt walking on 10th Street was a 5.7 out of 10, which corresponds to a slightly higher LTS of 2 but lower than an LTS of 3. The NACDO pedestrian LOS Model 2 equation was used to further assess the pedestrian facilities. Annual, daily, and hourly traffic flow data was acquired from the GDOT Traffic Analysis and Data Application, also known as TADA. We also collected data by measuring the lane and sidewalk widths, timing the pedestrian delay, and taking counts of the number of right turns on red and permitted left turns. With this data, the segment LOS was found to be 2.57, the intersection LOS 3.09, and the road crossing difficulty factor 0.82. Together, this resulted in a LOS of 2.797 or a rating of C. A bicycle LTS of 4 was determined due to the lack of bike lanes. From the survey, the average safety rating for riding a bike on 10th Street was 4.82 out of 10, which would correspond to an LTS of about 3. This higher LTS rating can be explained by bike users riding on sidewalks instead of the road. For the bicycle LOS, the NACDO Model 2 equation was used. Similar to the pedestrian LOS, we used traffic data from the TADA and personally collected data to conduct our calculations. The segment LOS was found to be 5.6, the intersection LOS 3.52, and the number of unsignalized conflicts totaled to be 5. This resulted in an LOS of 2.77 or a rating of C.
We also analyzed crash data from GDOT's Ash2Ware public crash data portal to characterize the safety of 10th Street. Along the segment of 10th Street, from Hemphill to Fowler Street between 2019 and 2023, there were 247 total crashes, 2 bicycle-related crashes, and 6 pedestrian crashes. These are alarming numbers and will influence our improvement selection process. Our main proposed improvement is a road diet. The existing road has a 44-foot cross section with 2 11-foot through lanes in each direction. This solution would reduce the effective width of the through lanes to 9 feet and the middle two-way left turn lane to 12 feet, leaving 14 feet, which is enough space for 2 6-foot bike lanes with 1-foot buffers each. Ideally, the buffered zone would also include flexible delineators as recommended by the Federal Highway Administration to improve safety. According to GDOT's Pedestrian Streetscape Guide, some road diet benefits include more consistent speeds, the opportunity to install bike lanes, and create a more community-focused complete street. According to the Federal Highway Administration, 4-lane to 3-lane road diet conversions have been seen to reduce total crashes by 19 to 47%, as there are fewer contact points and a reduction of cars weaving in and out of traffic. Providing bikes a designated lane to travel on the road with flexible delineators would also improve the connectivity of Georgia Tech bike facilities, as well as increase the cyclist comfort. The Federal Highway Administration states that converting traditional or flush buffered bicycle lanes to a separated bicycle lane with flexible delineator posts can reduce crashes up to 53%. We expect the road diet to reduce crashes and improve the safety of cyclists along this street segment. As a secondary recommendation, we also recommend including buffers along every segment of the sidewalk to increase safety and pedestrian comfort. In our survey, 2 respondents recommended improving the signal frequency for pedestrians, which we also would expect to decrease the frequency of jaywalking and improve overall safety. Both of these pedestrian improvements would improve the pedestrian level of service to a score of 2.671 or a rating of B. These recommendations collectively emphasize the need for enhanced safety measures, improved infrastructure, and a more organized traffic system to benefit all users of 10th Street.